Sharky Gamer here. So today we're taking a look at the Hori Ace Combat 04 Shattered Skies Analog Flight Stick Controller. Now this is for PlayStation 2, and as you can tell by the Japanese writing on the box, this is from Japan. So taking a closer look at the box here, first up you got a cool picture of the actual flight stick. Ace Combat 04 Shattered Skies. At the top there it says Hori. And down here it says Analog Controller Flight Stick. And over here it says Sidewinder F. On the side of the box it's pretty plain, just has an image of the controller and the titles and logos, etc. Same with the top of the box and the other side. Now onto the back of the box. There's a lot of details on the back of the box, but they all are in Japanese. It does sort of point out some features of the actual flight stick. How to connect it to your console. Let's go ahead now and have a closer look at this flight stick. So bear with me a moment while I just pull the packaging out. There's quite a bit of packaging in here. Okay, so first up, you get these suction feet that you can actually put on the base of the controller, and these just allow you to stick it to what surface you're playing on, so it's not going to move too much. And there's 4 in there, so you can hook it to the bottom of the controller. But of course they are optional in case you want to use them. So it's got a USB connection, decent length of cable. Moving on to the flight stick, as you can see, it's got a throttle and a stick, and basically what this falls into, what category it falls into, is the HOTAS system, which is hand on throttle and stick. Now this is quite a compact HOTAS system. It's all in one base, opposed to having 2 separate units. Moving on to the bottom of the controller here, you've got these little rubber feet, and that helps it stop sliding around. But of course, if you really want to help it stop sliding around, use those suction feet, and they clip into these little holes just there, and that gives you 4 suction feet you can stick onto a surface, and it makes it a bit more stable, and that way it's definitely not going to slide around. So this is the actual flight stick itself. Now you notice it's got a row of buttons down here, and it's also got a D-pad just there. So first up, with the button side of it, you've got start, select, up, and down. And the up and down's just basically they help you navigate menus, so you can move up and down your menu system. And these buttons feel really nice. In the center here you've got a D-pad. Now this D-pad is very firm. But it's really just there in case you need a D-pad for something. But it does work alright in the game. Moving on, first up we've got a throttle here. Now the throttle is pretty small, but it fits in your hand quite nicely. Your hand covers it quite well, and you can reach all the areas. And the throttle basically just moves forward, and it moves back. And that will control your speed of your jet. And this moves really nice and smoothly, really easy. You can grip it really easy too. Now on the back of it, you've actually got these, like a switch here. It actually slides this way and slides that way. And this is basically your rudder system. So when you're holding it, you can actually hit that like that. And that also moves pretty nicely, really easy to press, works really well. And of course you can use your throttle, and of course use that, so it's really easy to reach. Moving on to your actual flight stick part. This part here is your flight stick, and as you can see, it's actually built in a way that actually fits your hand really nicely. It's got this little rest here where you can put the side of your hand on, so your hand just curves around really nicely, and it gives your hand something to rest on while you're playing. You can move this really smoothly. Moving on to the front here, you've got your trigger. This works really well, really responsive. And in the Ace Combat 4 game, you can actually use that for basically firing machine gun. So you can really easily press this and hold it down also, so you can fire your machine gun. On the side here, you've got another button, and in the game this is actually used for firing missiles. And that's really easy to reach, really easy to press when you need it. Moving up the top here, first up you've got triangle there. So you've got triangle, and that actually allows you to zoom in on what you're looking at, so you can actually use it as a zoom function to zoom in on the distance, to see a plane in the distance, or to see a target in the distance. So you just basically press that and that'll zoom in, you let go, it'll zoom back out again. The square button over here, if you press this, this brings up your map, and if you usually hold it down for a prolonged period, it'll actually zoom in on the map. Moving up, this stick here is actually like a point of view stick, because it allows you to actually look around your cockpit, to look at your scenery, to look around. It's very sensitive as well, so in the game you're sort of moving it really slowly to look around nicely. If you do it too much, your view goes all over the place. And if you let go, your view goes straight back to the default. So it's pretty cool, gives you an opportunity to kind of look around your surroundings. So it's pretty portable, it's got a lot of functions, but to really see how these functions actually perform, we'll have a look at it in the game. So let's go now and have a look at this actually in a bit of gameplay with Ace Combat 04 Shattered Scars for the PlayStation 2. Let's go have a look at that now.
UX here, call sign Sky Eye. Do you read? Your call sign is Mobius 1. We'll refer to you by this name at all times. You are now under my command. 6 bombers on Vector 360 confirmed. Continue north to intercept. Today's my birthday. A victory sure would be nice.
Allen Ford was only a secondary target because it was along their flight path. Head toward the combat area. Halo 9, engage. Keep your guard up. Viper 3, engage. Victor 8, engage. Don't forget wingman consideration during combat. Be calm and give it your best shot when the enemy arrives.
Mobius 1, engage. Target is bombing the city.
Don't be overeager in pursuing them. We've got ourselves a dogfight. A bomb has been hit.
There's our welcoming party.
Let your escorts handle them.
8 miles to the target.
It's not working. I can't shake it. Eject. It may be too late for Allen Fort. Attack!
Mobius 1, currently over city airspace.
5 miles out from first target. Line up. Open bomb bay doors.
Mobius 1, Fox 2.
This is 3-3. But hit. Transmit eject.
base is on the nose.
Target on the nose.
This is Grave 5. I'm taking enemy fire.
Bandit at 4 o'clock.
Over target. Bombs away. Bombs away. They're coming in fast.
Locked on.
This is Allen Fort. We're under attack. The runway and facilities are hit. Here they come. I'm counting on you. Protect the bombers. Mayday, mayday.
Not yet.
Right on the running.
There. He's all mine.
Die, you SOB!
Missed.
Don't fly in a straight line. The bombers are bare.
Mobius 1, Fox 2.
I'll take the escorts on the nose.
Radar lock.
This is Ray 1. We still have a payload. Ready. Bandit behind you. Turn and evade.
White 3, got one on your tail.
1 target remaining.
Red 7. Bandit on my tail.
It's no good.
Nothing but air. Heads up. Bandits in gun range. Good job, Mobius 1.
Sky Eye, this is Allen Fort. Got visual on the downed bombers. Whose kill was that? Make sure to thank him.
That's a roundup. Let's go on home.
Okay, so that was the gameplay with Ace Combat 4. And as you can see, this stick performs really well. It works really well with the game. You can reach all your commands really easily. You can use your stick to steer your plane, your throttle to control your speed, and of course all your commands here to view your map, fire, everything. Really easy to access every single feature, and of course it really makes the game better because it gives you a more realistic kind of experience, because you feel like you're actually holding a flight stick and a throttle and actually flying your plane. So it gives you a bit more of a realistic experience. And of course, like all flight sticks, each one is slightly a bit different, so it does take a little bit to get used to, but once you're used to that kind of stick, it is really awesome to use with the game. Works really well. And I would much prefer playing Ace Combat games with something like this than say a gamepad. It just feels so much more natural to use a flight stick, especially a HOTAS system. So overall, this is a great stick. It performs well, perfect for any kind of Ace Combat games, or any other kind of combat flight sims that needs a HOTAS system or a flight stick. It'll work pretty well with all of those. Now this is pretty rare. You don't see them too often, and most times when you do see them, they're second hand. Now sometimes when you buy them second hand, they come with the game, sometimes they don't. Mine didn't come with the game, but I already had the game, so it was really easy to use. I could just use my existing game. But you don't find these very easily, and like I say, you pretty much only ever see them used. And the problem with buying them used with this stick in particular, now when I gave you a closer look at earlier, this looks like plastic. It looks just plastic, looks all smooth, and that's because it is. It is smooth at the moment. But when you first get this, it is actually coated in a rubber grip kind of substance. So the rubber gives it a sort of better grip. It's supposed to make it more comfortable to play for longer hours. But the problem with that kind of rubber is after a while it goes sticky. And because most times you only find these used, by the time you get it, that thing is just really sticky. You don't even want to touch it. And when you touch it, you sometimes get black stuff coming off on your hands. So what I had to do is I actually cleaned this flight stick. I cleaned the rubber completely off the stick and the throttle, and it left the kind of smooth plastic below it. So that's why mine in particular here is actually nice and smooth again, not sticky at all. It's just got the plastic feeling. It's because I actually cleaned the rubber completely off of it. And really, if you get these secondhand and you have that problem with that sticky rubber, which I think is a pretty common issue, you'll probably have to clean that rubber off to even use it. I tried using it while it was sticky, and it felt awful. I just didn't want to use it, so I cleaned it, and of course now it looks pretty awesome, and it feels so much better to hold and play with now. It's just the type of rubber they use on it. Just after a while, it just goes sticky, and you just don't want it on there. It just feels horrible. So just keep a note, if you're going to look to buy one of these things, you might find you might have to clean the rubber off of it to actually use it properly, or to use it comfortably, should I say. But overall, if you put that aside, it's a great flight stick, great HOTAS system by Hori. It's really well made, it looks really nice, it works really well in the game. Like I said, the biggest down point is just that rubber, which, like I said, I cleaned off. Once you clean it off, it's perfect. Looks good after that. And of course, this is not only ideal for Ace Combat, but it's ideal for any type of flight combat sim that would support a HOTAS system or flight stick. And it's not that big either, so you can't have an excuse that it's too big, because this thing is not very big. So yeah, pretty cool controller. So you guys, that was the Hori Ace Combat 04 Shattered Skies Analog Flight Stick Controller. It's a pretty awesome piece of gear, and I definitely recommend you to get one of these things if you want to play a flight game, and if you want a bit more of a portable flight stick. But like I say, it's kind of rare, so I guess the only people that really would be interested in buying one of these things maybe are fans and collectors, and that's if you can find one. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. I am Sharky Gamer. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll have heaps more gaming, controller, and accessory videos up very shortly. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you want to, and of course if you like this video, hit that like button. Really helps out a lot, guys. Thanks for watching.